to Money Matters, brought to you by DCASA. Casper's here.
It is so out of control.
I'm in too deep.
Bad debt can happen to good people. You may not know where to start, but at Debt Counselling Group South Africa, we can get you on the right path to financial recovery. Visit dcgsa.co.za or call 086 100 1047. DCGSA, award-winning consumer debt assistance.
Yes, indeed, it is Money Matters time, and of course, Stella sends her greetings to Casper this afternoon. Well, welcome to another episode of Money Matters here on Link FM. Today, we've got a very special guest. Someone who's been at the forefront of debt counseling in South Africa and is deeply involved with shaping the future of the industry. Please join me in welcoming back none other than Casper Lagrange from DCGSA, who is also the Eastern Cape representative of Debt Counsellors Association of South Africa. Casper, always a pleasure. Not too sure how special you are here. Seeing as you're always here. Anyway,
firstly, hello to Stella, and thank you for having me back. I missed my Monday afternoons.
Hey, it wasn't the same, eh?
I didn't even know what day of the week it was since I wasn't here.
Ooh, must be nice, eh?
Completely lost.
Must
no,
be
never.
so
I
nice,
miss my
Casper.
people.
Alright, Casper, let's get straight into it. You've just returned from the DCASA, aka DCASA, conference 2014, which was quite an event for those in the debt counseling sector. This year, a lot of focus was on revising the Task Team Agreement 2.0, and I understand that you're part of the panel working on these amendments. Can you tell us a bit more about what the Task Team Agreement is and why it's so significant for the industry?
Yo, Mr. K, quite a mouthful there.
Yeah.
I think, firstly, DCASA, Debt Counselling Association Conference, that's our big conference every year that all the provinces go to. We sit with the heads of banks, all of that. We get insights into the industry. And one of the biggest topics that's been going around in our industry is quite rightfully so, the Task Team Agreement 2.0, as we're calling it in the industry. The last time this was done is back in 2010, only finalized in 2015, the first Task Team. Yeah. And before that, 2010, 2011, I was in the High Court with certain banks all the time, because there were no guidelines. We were still shaping the industry. I mean, I was the enemy of the banks back then. Now, I mean, we sit around the table, we WhatsApp, we really get together to make things work to the benefit of the consumer. And that's in essence what the Task Team is all about. So the Task Team Agreement is really designed to guide the relationships between debt counsellors, credit providers, the banks, and consumers. Is how does the debt counselling process work? Let's give some concessions. If it wasn't for the Task Team original one, we wouldn't have seen interest rates go as low as 0% or to prime minus 1.5 on a vehicle or a home loan. So the banks have really give major concessions in the first Task Team, and so also, to give guidance that we don't have one bank doing this, another bank doing that. We've got a certain guide that it needs to solve. But like everything, it's back from 2015. It's 9 years ago. Lots of changes happened. Lots of court judgments have come out. So the financial pressure on consumers we need to address. The changes that's happening in the financial landscape we need to address. It's time for updates, and we can't wait another 9 years. We also want this to be an annual thing, that we are proactive, in the industry and make changes as it happens. So it's clear that it needed to be revisited, and we got it through that this is now being discussed on the Credit Industry Forum. And yes, I am on that panel, and we help shape the future for South African consumers.
Sounds like a massive undertaking, Casper. What are some of the key amendments being proposed at this new version of the Task Team Agreement?
Well, definitely the new one needs changes. I mean, 2015 was the last time it was put in place, and after that, I mean, it was a clean cutthroat thing that took place in 2015. We saw the immense pressure took off consumers. We saw the industry really growing from that space because there were now clear guidelines. There were no more, this is what I think, this is what you think, these are the rules, let's play by them. But unfortunately, it's outdated. We need clearer communication channels. We need more people to be part of the task team. The more people that are educated and understand it from debt counselors and credit provider sides, the better it is for the consumers. And obviously we can't have better for consumers, and we can't have sustainability without credit providers also giving concessions away. And that is what it's about, is finding a middle ground to keep our economy going, to get an over-indebted consumer back on their feet, back into the credit market so they can buy that first house and car, and the mistakes that they made in the past is put behind them. They get a clean sweep. They don't have to lose everything in life. Here's your second chance, and let's open this up to the broader sector, not only the middle and high end, but also, the lower end consumer that desperately needs it, So this will hopefully prevent financial situations from becoming so dire that they need to lose everything. Debt counselling is really a pillar of hope in our credit market. And if it wasn't for our National Credit Act back in 2009, we would have gone with the rest of the world, having major issues and a big economic crisis and a big recession, which it stopped. So let's make these positive changes. And luckily we're now in a space where everybody agrees it needs updates. It needs the new case law to be part of that task team agreement, and hopefully we benefit the consumer with all these updates.
Sounds like these changes could have quite a big impact, Casper. So tell us, what do you hope to achieve with these amendments in terms of the broader debt counselling industry?
So our goal is really to create a more balanced and efficient system that works for everybody, debt counselors, credit providers, and most importantly, the consumer. By refining the task team agreement into updating it, basically, we hope to restore consumer confidence in the debt review process and ensure that more people can get help when they need and not wait until it's too late. This in turn can help reduce the overall levels of over-indebtedness in South Africa. I mean, we overstretch. Our pockets, our wallets can't afford food at this point. Luckily, the fuel price come down a little bit, but people are still suffering. People are really out there struggling to put food on the table. I'm not just talking about the low end. I'm talking about the consumers earning 30, 40, 50, 60,000. They also can't put food on the table. I know it sounds outrageous, but that's the reality of what's happening in our credit market currently. So hopefully this can alleviate that. And hopefully, just hopefully, we can all get together, improve the market, so when people are in court and their defense is I'm over indebted, that the first thought would be, let me approach a debt counsellor for assistance, or for the court to say, listen, go to a debt counsellor, you really need help. And that is what debt counselling should be, the helping hand in society.
Absolutely. So Casper, you discussed, you had all the meetings. Question is, where do we go from here? What are the next steps following the conference?
The next steps involve finalizing the amendments and then rolling them out to industry. Now, unfortunately, like I said, the previous one, 2010, only finalized 2015. Hopefully this will not be the same. Luckily, we've got now good people at the regulator. We've got good people at DCASA. We've got good people at the retailers. Really people that see the benefit for consumers, that see the benefit for their clients, the banks and the credit providers as well, that if we can fix these consumers and we can help them, we can get them back into the market and have a client again and keep our economy going. So we'll be conducting training sessions with debt counselors and credit providers to ensure everyone is on the same page with the new processes and procedures, and make it clear, if you've got a new debt counselor, that it's clear from the document, from the agreement, this is what I need to do. And the same with credit providers. One head of a bank goes and what now? You get new people in, they don't know, well, here's the task team agreement, just follow this. This is our manual for everything. So additionally, we'll also be monitoring the implementation closely to make sure the changes are having the desired effect. It's an ongoing process, but we're committed to making the debt review system effective and responsive to the needs of our South African consumer and our financial industry.
Sounds great. But Casper, before we wrap up, I want to remind our listeners that managing your debt and financial health is crucial. You're feeling overwhelmed or you just want to stay on top of your finances, I encourage you to visit the DCGSA website. That is www.dcgsa.co.za. Now there you can access a free credit check and debt assessment. Casper, could you please tell our listeners why taking advantage of this free service is so important?
Education. Mr. K, it is so important that you know what your credit health is, that you know what your financial situation is. So a free credit check and debt assessment is vital and the first step on understanding your financial situation. Sometimes we're all ostriches, we put our head in the sand hoping the problem goes away, and it just snowballs, and before you know it, you're so deep in, you on the Titanic, you didn't believe it's going to sink, but hey, it's hit that iceberg and you're busy drowning. So many people don't realize how quickly debt can spiral out of control. Remember they said about the Titanic, not even God can sink it, but our God is strong, and he makes things happen. But also, so your debt can also just happen like the Titanic. The iceberg can hit you at any time. So with the petrol prices that's down, now is the time to take control. You now have that little breather space. Get your budget, get your finances under control, have a budget, know where your money is going before you really drown. So by doing the credit check, you get a clear picture of your credit status, how much I'm actually supposed to pay towards my debt, because lots of people make the mistake, they pay the bare minimum, they don't understand why the debt keeps on growing and growing. And this will give you the opportunity to address those issues early. The earlier, the better, and the earlier you've got detection on your financial problems, you can take proactive steps, and you don't necessarily need debt review. But see debt review as that helping hand that can flush away your problems, really put you back on your feet, so that in the future you want to buy a house, in the future you need to replace your car, you can do that, and your financial speed bumps that you had doesn't put you in a worse of situation. So at DCG we always guide you through that, and that helping hand. And remember, take control of your finances sooner rather than later, because later might be just too late. And we can stop that legal action. We can stop you from losing your car and your house. But it's in the consumer's court to know what, to educate themselves on how things work.
Awesome stuff. Casper, I know that you need to jet off again very soon.
Yes.
Casper, can you just give us the financial scripture as we wrap up? And also, if you don't mind telling us where you'll be going.
Mr. K, it's always a pleasure to be here, and it's so encouraging to see people with financial strains that put their hand up and deal with it sooner rather than later. So I'm off to the Money Summit tomorrow in Johannesburg. The Money Summit's very important. It's about our financial industry. Even though it's not in my specific space, we need to know what's happening. And then I'm off to Cape Town to attend industry things. One of those is to address things like the task team agreement, which I'm also on that panel for. And then we can't leave today without thinking of Romans 13 verse 8. Let no debt remain outstanding, except the continuing debt to love one another. For whoever loves others has fulfilled the law. Romans 13 verse 8. So this verse emphasizes the importance of resolving financial obligations, which aligns with the goals of debt counseling and the message of financial responsibility. Love your neighbor as you love yourself.
Wow. Beautiful way to end today. Sound advice, Casper. Thank you so much for joining us as always. And of course, listen, you know where to tune in or where to stay tuned in right here on Link FM for more financially sound counsel coming straight from DCGSA. Casper, you need to go. Always a pleasure having you. And yeah, we'll chat again soon when you're available.
Have a blessed